Today we're driving the 2024 AMG GT63. Now, a few weeks ago, we drove the SL63, and on paper, this is very similar. It's almost like the coupe version of the SL. However, it is the replacement to the AMG GT. It costs $176,000 to start. This one is $200,000. And there are a lot of similarities here to the SL63 that we drove. Same 4-liter Biturbo V8 that makes 577 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. Same 9-speed multi-clutch transmission. This is all-wheel drive. It has 4-wheel steer. And it looks incredible. Let's walk you guys around this. We'll talk about what it's been like to live with and drive this week. There are some differences between this and the SL. This is a bit more hardcore. It's stiffer. It's rowdier. It's got quite an exhaust note. So this will be a fun drive this morning. Let's start on the outside. This GT63 is painted in Moonlight white Magno, which is just a matte white, and it looks so good. Love the taillights, love these wheels. About $25,000 in options on this, and it just looks incredible. Super aggressive front end, a gorgeous design, and a much more livable car than the older AMG GT used to be. The interior feels more spacious. There's a surprising amount of room in the trunk too. It's deep, it's wide, it's low. No spare tire, unfortunately, but you do get some more space under there. Not too shabby for a GT car. This is probably one of the most emotional cars on sale with a V8. It just sounds so special. Steel brakes, and look at these wheels. They are stunning. Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, even though I think they should be 5S's. These may have had to be replaced. Every angle on this car just is stunning. Let's take a look under the hood. Burmeister sound system, carbon fiber. These seats are super well bolstered. I will admit the interior on this doesn't feel as special with all of the corporate Mercedes AMG screen things going on, but it is a really nice interior to live with, and all the materials are very high quality. It just feels a little bit like everything else in the Mercedes lineup with this screen. That's okay, we'll talk more about that later, because it is a pretty good infotainment in this space. There's the venerable 4-liter Biturbo V8. We've driven it in many different vehicles from a couple different brands. I am absolutely in love with this engine. It is such a treat. It sounds amazing. So much torque. No mild hybrid element here. It is all internal combustion. Yeah, what a looker. All right, let's hop in and get on the road here. These door handles are annoying. Ambient lighting everywhere, including in your air vents. Little bit of offensive gloss black plastic here. That's okay, I'm fine with it. We have some quick access controls here in our infotainment. Some buttons to get us to screens quickly, like our parking cameras, different drive modes, vehicle settings. We have head-up display, lane keep assist, steering assistance. We have a front-end nose lift in this GT63. All the drive mode customization you could desire. An individual mode, a race mode. Oh, the exhaust is so good here. I found the voice assistant this week to be mostly useless. Anything I tell her, she doesn't really do. But luckily, everything is within a tap or two in this infotainment. I like that. We have a plethora of gauge cluster options. That's the Super Sport gauge cluster. Here's the Classic. You've all seen that before. Here's what Sport looks like. I think we're going to rock Super Sport this morning. That looks pretty good. You could change up the ambient lighting to just about everything that you could imagine. it gets pretty rowdy in here. You can crank it all the way up, turn it off completely. We'll leave it on. Seat massage. After living with this infotainment for some time, it's actually a very good system. It's reasonably responsive. Sometimes it takes a bit to wake up right on startup, but overall it's pretty nice to use. We have wireless CarPlay that connects quickly and consistently. No problems there. And I love this main screen that has so many apps. That's fantastic. Down here, we get some storage for water bottles, cups, wireless charging, 2 USB-C ports, some more space to put things down here, more USB ports, and there's a bit of a cargo kind of shelf back here. Not really room for any seats or anything, but that's okay. Here's your glove box. Here's the Monroney. $199,060. This has the AMG forged wheels, dash cam, fixed panorama roof. That's nice. Front axle lift, driving assistance package, night package, gas guzzler tax. We'll put all that in detail in the description so you can check through the options and the pricing. All right, for now, let's start off in comfort mode. We have auto stop start disabled. You have to press that button every time you start the vehicle. Otherwise, this just shuts off at a light and then you have to run the starter to get it back on. It just sounds very strange in a vehicle that has this type of performance, this type of V8, and costs 200 grand. But that's okay. It is something that we have to live with in a lot of modern vehicles. Let's show you guys a reverse camera. Very nice, very high quality. It's pretty dark right now, and this seems to show me what I need to see. Changes to a forward-facing camera when we put it in drive. Seat, window, and mirror controls are all over here to the left. You've got 3 seat memory settings, heated seats, cooled seats, door lock, unlock, button to pop the trunk right there. I mean, the ergonomics in this cabin are actually quite good. Sitting in this driver's seat, I can get nice and low. Lots of adjustment there. Steering wheel comes right up to my chest. Everything is motor adjusted. The paddle shifters feel really nice and high quality. We have this column-mounted gear selector, which I love. Seats, very comfortable, and they look proper. They look a little bit more subdued, but they really do have quite aggressive bolstering. They're easy to get in and out of, though, because there isn't a huge bolster down here. Yeah, it's all very, very nice. All right, let's go drive this. We have active aerodynamics, a front splitter, and a rear wing that will activate at different speeds. And you'll see that kind of represented there in that little icon and in the rearview mirror. So keep an eye on that while we're driving this around today. You can customize just about everything in this car individually with these little icons down here on the steering wheel. Right now we have our suspension and comfort, our exhaust valve closed. We can open up that exhaust valve with a press of a button. And it sounds so good. We're gonna go into, let's go into race mode. Why not? Brake pedal feel is fantastic. Really nice, stiff pedal, easy to modulate. Fantastic brakes on this GT63. And the shifts from this 9-speed are brutal. They happen so quickly, so ferociously. Getting some temperature in this car, and the tires, and my brain. I love an AMG with a V8. Always have, always will. This doesn't get old. What a treat. On the highway, you still feel a little bit of ride stiffness, even in comfort mode, but it does smooth out pretty well. This is not a punishing car to drive. It's not as stiff as something like a GT3. It's actually a really nice daily driver. good noise and wind and road isolation here. A little bit of sound from the Pilot Sport 4S tires, but again, I don't think those were replaced with a proper tire. This should be a 5S on here, or a 5. Pretty good driving assistance tech, nice adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, all that stuff. It auto-canceled there when it saw me going into this exit ramp here. But, you know, in a car like this, who cares about all that stuff? Downshifts aren't immediate, but it gets the job done. And the feedback you get from these paddle shifters is so satisfying that you just want to use them all the time. You can switch into manual mode. Let's see if that gives us a little bit better transmission responsiveness. We're in the most aggressive drive mode right now, race. This is all-wheel drive. It puts its power down beautifully. There isn't even really a reason to turn off traction control on the street just because this thing is so stable. It doesn't really kick the tail out too much. Really sharp front end. Bit of safe understeer at the limit, but the limits are so high, you're going to be challenged to approach them on the street. We'll go back into drive. Gearbox is tuned very well in its auto programming. It always knows the right gear. Utilizes the torque from this 4-liter Biturbo. 590 pound-feet of torque here. Not crazy amounts of power. You can still enjoy this car in a straight line on the street. The gearing isn't too tall. It sounds fantastic, but you do have to be careful because this is still a very, very quick street car. Beautiful sunrise today. Sport Plus. Very, very fast steering ratio. It all settles down quite nicely in comfort mode. That is good to have. It's fun. It's fast. It's engaging. I like the steering. Bit of Alcantara suede here on the steering wheel. It is heavier than the last AMG GT. Rear wheel steer, extra tech, all-wheel drive. It all adds up. I'd like to say I feel the extra weight here, but if I'm being honest, this AMG GT63 hides it pretty well. Nice, easy, relaxing, smooth shifts in comfort mode. Just cruising around. Spoiler in the rearview mirror. Maximum attack. Even in race mode, the suspension isn't super punishing. It gives you a little bit of damping over big bumps, and it soaks it up pretty well. You can feel the extra stiffness, definitely, but it's not terribly stiff, which I really appreciate. It feels like high quality, really well calibrated suspension tuning. And I love just being able to switch drive mode so fast right here on the fly. I don't even have to look down. I can just remember the clicks that it takes, barely take my hand off the steering wheel. This is a great, great system implemented by Mercedes. Really good ergonomics. It's a comfortable GT car. It's a comfortable cruiser. Good visibility all the way around too. And I even think the fuel economy in this is decent. Around 20 on the highway, probably mid to low teens around town, but that's okay. You're gonna want to listen to that V8. A little bit of tire noise from these Pilot Sport 4S's. That's what we've come to expect from Michelin. How is this sound system? Let's do a quick test. I'm not a fan of this volume control on the steering wheel. It would be nice to have a volume slider, volume knob, instead of this touch situation. That's okay, you get used to it. Burmester is good. It's not amazing. I'm not blown away by this in a $200,000 car. All right, let's see if we can knock out a launch control here. That needs to happen. Nobody's around. Let's go for it. Yes. One more time. That's pretty special. I like that. Got wheel spin from all four tires on that first launch. What a lovely car to drive in 2024. Oh, this is so fun. So fun. Do I like this or the SL63 better? It's tough because the SL63, you could put the roof down and listen to that V8 soundtrack in the open air right behind you. This, though, is a much more hardcore experience. You could really have some fun with this on track. Depends how you're going to be using your car. I love the form factor of this GT63. It's an absolutely beautiful design, and it drives great. That exhaust is so rowdy. I heard some of it might be enhanced a little bit by this Burmeister sound system. I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. Ever since we did launch control, the seat seatbelt is hugging me very tightly. It's kind of nice, actually. This is a heck of a car. Yes, thank you. Thank you, AMG, for building something with a V8 that sounds proper and that isn't a hybrid or a plug-in or an EV. Okay, there are some gimmicks here. The ambient lighting's a bit much. We can turn that off. Ambient lighting.
I'm turning off the ambient light.
Cool. You can turn it all off and this looks like a normal car interior. That's perfectly fine. Oh.
I'm sorry, can you say that?
It's okay, go away. It's fine. You're good. I always make this statement in a car like this. I think we are missing out on something special with all the digital gauge clusters we have these days in cars. You'll notice that luxury watches are not digital. They're analog, they're mechanical. This is manual wind, and it would be nice to have some actual physical gauges here. AMG used to make some fantastic gauges in their GT cars, and I think you're just losing a little bit in that. You get the same gauge cluster in just about any other Mercedes product. I do like this screen. I think the placement is pretty ideal. It has a nice amount of real estate. We get constant climate icons. CarPlay is nice and big. I mean, once you get used to using it, it's pretty quick and easy and fast to operate with minimal distraction. I wish the voice activation worked a little bit more reliably, but that could also just be me not knowing exactly what to say to it. In sport mode, exhaust tone is pretty clean. No pops and burbles or noise. Oh, that just sounds fantastic. It's that perfect blend of boost noise, induction, and exhaust. This 4-liter V8, it's so responsive. And the soundtrack is just, I can't get over it. So, whatever your flavor, if you're feeling obnoxious or if you're just feeling classy, you can have it in whatever drive mode you want here. I think the big surprise and the big takeaway that I've had spending some time in this and the SL63 AMG the last couple weeks is that there's just so much personality here. And it's surprising because so much personality has been lacking from some of the competitors in this segment. Every trip behind the wheel in this feels special. I feel like it's increasing my testosterone as we drive it. It really is a fun package. And it does have a lot of personality. And for that, I think in 2024 makes it a very special vehicle. It boggles my mind that you can go out and get a used AMG GT for around $60,000, $70,000 these days. That is just incredible value. I remember when I first drove an AMG GT on track. It was at Road America at a journalist event. And I thought, wow, would I rather have this or a GT3? And now, for the money, I mean, you can't get a GT3 for 70 grand anymore. It just doesn't happen. And I kind of feel the same way about this right now. in 2024? Would I rather have this or a GT3? They're very, very different cars. They're very different flavors. I think ultimately it comes down to what you prefer. This is a lot of money. It's not going to hold its value like a GT3 will, that's for sure. But it is a fun car to spend time in, and I have loved every minute behind the wheel in this week. It's a very livable car with a ton of performance, and I think that's the big improvement here with this GT63 is the livability, the ergonomics, the usability of this car on a daily basis. You could daily drive one of these, absolutely no problem, and love every minute of it, and there wouldn't really be many compromises. This having a very kind of traditional Mercedes corporate interior could be both a positive and a negative. If you already have a Mercedes product, this could be a very familiar place. And it's very easy to use. The ergonomics here are quite well laid out. That said, it also doesn't feel as special as maybe it used to with that crazy center stack and the weird ergonomics you'd have to pull your arm all the way back to use and press buttons. But I'm not going to complain about the extra usability and livability here. I think this is just a fantastic overall car. If you want a convertible, get the SL63. If you want a coupe and this shape and this beautiful body style, get the GT63. This is a lot of fun. All right, we're gonna drive around a little bit more, and then we'll walk you guys around this one more time, and that will be a wrap on this video. This has just been a lovely Sunday morning drive. Close the exhaust valve in race mode, and the exhaust gets pretty quiet without any pops and burbles. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, okay. Infinite customization. I love that. And then you can take all that and put it in an individual mode and do whatever you want. That's cool. Turn on ambient lighting. Listen. All right, we'll pause here, do a quick walk around. These wheels are an expensive option, but oh, do they look good. I bet they save a bit of weight too. What a stunner. Thanks for watching, guys. Go check out the SL63 AMG video as well if you haven't had a chance yet. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Oh yeah, one more thing. Look how fast the steering ratio is in this. I don't even think this is like 1.5 turns lock to lock. It's crazy quick.